Beer here back in the fantasy bar. Week 1 is here. NFL is back, and we are back with 6 of my favorite plays ready for you to go on FanDuel and DraftKings, including some of my favorite value plays on the slate. Couple ways to get different off of some of the chalk. A rookie quarterback, I'm going right to the well in week 1, and a beast of the week, I think, smashes this week. Who we talking about? Only one way to find out. Belly up to the fantasy bar. Welcome back, guys. NFL is back. Week 1 on the docket, and we are here to give you 6 of my favorite plays in the NFL each and every week on FanDuel and DraftKings. Welcome in to the fantasy bar. If you're an old timer, welcome back to the bar. Grab that bar stool, kick back while I give you 6 of my favorite plays on FanDuel and DraftKings. If you are new, welcome aboard. Enjoy the ride here. Been a long time doing these videos over the years, and glad to be back for another season here on RotoGrinders, giving you some of my favorite picks. Before we get into the plays, the housekeeping. First thing, most important on every video, make sure you're clicking that thumbs up button. That's the tip jar here on this free video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, get notifications knocked out as well. And also make sure you're checking us out over at scoresandodds.com/beer. Some of the best sports betting information you will find. That link in the description of the video. We'll be doing 2 videos each and every week for you. The 6-pack here, obviously, along with my pints and picks, 2 of my favorite sports betting picks in the NFL each and every week. So make sure you are checking that out as well. Very good success rate on that video last season. We hope to keep it hot this season as well, both over there and here with the DFS picks. All right, let's get into the games here this week. Let's start at the running back position with J.K. Dobbins of Baltimore. So I absolutely love the Ravens for DFS purposes this season. It starts as early as week 1. I think there's a lot of ways you can go, whether it's Lamar Jackson and the passing game or J.K. Dobbins and the running game. And the beauty here, Dobbins checks a lot of boxes for us. First off, I expect this offense to take a big leap under Todd Monken. So we got a nice explosive offense that should be able to put up points in bunches. Fantastic matchup here with the Houston Texans as well. And we love our running backs as home favorites. Baltimore, double-digit favorites here at home against Houston. You also look at some of the ownership, and some of the guys in this pricing range going to be a lot more chalky than what we're going to see on J.K. Dobbins. We're projecting under 5% ownership here on Dobbins. So Kenneth Walker, Alexander Madison, guys in this same pricing vein that I think will be a lot more highly owned. So give me Dobbins. Looked great down the stretch last season. Looks to be healthy. Yes, it's part of a committee, but I think he dominates that committee here and should dominate this Houston run deep. While they'll be improved this season under DeMeco Ryans, this team gave up the most rushing yards, 22 rushing touchdowns, was dead last in the league, and also gave up the most fantasy points to the running back position. Let's start with a smash spot here for J.K. Dobbins. All right, let's go to the quarterback position. This one, you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. Don't turn off the video. Hear me out. We'll roll quarterback, Anthony Richardson. So the most athletic quarterback, most athletic player to ever hit the combine makes his debut here, and definitely a boom bust play here that we want to get out right out of the gates here in week 1. So again, some of you are probably like, I love the pick. Some of you hating the pick on Anthony Richardson, but hear me out. We know the ceiling going to be there with his running ability. I think the offense going to be really structured around him with Shane Steichen under the controls. Remember, he was the guy that got Jalen Hurts up to an MVP type level. So they've had time to work with Richardson. I think it's going to be a very functional offense. It's really going to highlight his skills, his ability as a runner, and a good matchup here. Jacksonville, bottom 10 in fantasy points allowed to the quarterback position, and we're very vulnerable on the ground. Gave up the 3rd most rushing yards to the quarterback position last season. So not a pick for everybody. Definitely boom bust here, but I think we get some boom. Loving Anthony Richardson here in week 1. All right, let's stay in that game. Go to the other side with a little correlation with wide receiver Calvin Ridley. So another hot button topic this offseason. Richardson certainly was, but Ridley making his return to football, making his debut for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I want to be right on board here in week 1. A lot of people going to take a wait and see approach with some of these plays. I want to be aggressive right out of the gate here, and we want to do that with Calvin Ridley. And even this game, I think this game very stackable. Reports have been fantastic all summer long with Calvin Ridley, and expected to be that number 1 receiver in this offense led by Trevor Lawrence, who took a big step last season. Jacksonville, nice team total here in this one, sitting at 25. Colts gave up a lot of touchdowns to wide receivers last season, and Calvin Ridley finds the end zone, has a big debut here on opening day. All right, tight end next. Let's go with some value with Tyler Higbee of the Rams. So as each day passes, we get closer to season. Looks more and more like Cooper Kupp not going to play here in week 1. So what does that mean? Some people excited about the Van Jeffersons, Tutu Atwells, Puka Nakulas of the world. Those guys are fine. I think they're a fine mix in your tournament builds on the cheap, but it's Higbee I think could lead the way as the top target in this passing game. Seattle was definitely a matchup. We targeted 4 tight ends last season. Want to go right back to the well here. Higbee didn't do much in those games, but I think 7, 8, 9 targets, not out of the question here. Seattle gave up the second most receiving yards and the second most fantasy points to the tight end position. To me, Higbee, the 1A in this passing offense, likely a team playing from behind here. Tyler Higbee, solid value for you at the tight end position. All right, more value at the running back position next with Antonio Gibson of Washington. Now, really like the spot for Washington, but it seems like most people are going to be on the combination of Sam Howell, Jahan Dotson here, looking pretty chalky so far in some of the early ownership projections. Some nice leverage here, whether it's Gibson or Brian Robinson. I like both of these backs. Gibson probably a better fit on DraftKings, Robinson more so on FanDuel for the touchdown upside, but I think there's going to be plenty to go around for both of these guys. So even with a split, I think both are fantastic plays here. We know Gibson gives us that upside on DraftKings with that PPR. McLaurin, we don't know if he's going to play yet, a little bit banged up. They may ease him in, so Gibson may be used even more as a pass catcher here. But the matchup with Arizona, really what I'm after here. They were terrible against running backs last season. 3rd most fantasy points allowed, 3rd most receptions allowed, most receiving touchdowns by running backs. We saw Gibson catch one in the preseason. I think he does it here again. Big home favorites here as well. Antonio Gibson, great spot here in week 1. All right, it's time. Take a look at my favorite play for week 1. Before we do that, we're going to do our Beast of the Week contest. How do you play? Very easy. You click that thumbs up button, you head to the comment section, and you guess fantasy points on DraftKings for my Beast of the Week. Whoever has the closest guess, and you're going to win yourself a free week of RotoGrinders Premium. All right, let's wrap this baby up with my favorite play for week 1. You know, Mass, Beast of the Week. All right, Beast time. We owe you one more wide receiver. We're going to spend up here on TYREEK Hill of the Dolphins, this week's Beast of the Week. So this game, obviously, one everybody's going to be circling, stacking, playing a ton. I don't care about ownership here. We can get different in some other spots. Doesn't seem like it's going to get out of control. A lot of good options on the high end at wide receiver, but this game has potential to go 60, 70 points on the scoreboard here. Miami, really condensed passing attack. Really what I love here. With a guy like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, they're going to see a ton of targets. Not many targets going to anybody else. So Tyreek feels like a lock for 10 or more targets in this game, especially if it gets into a back and forth or Miami finds themselves playing from behind here. Was really on a tear. When Tua was healthy, 94 receptions for Tyreek Hill over those 13 games, averaged almost 22 fantasy points per game. Tua is back. Tyreek has his eyes set on 2,000 yards receiving, and I'm not going to question anything Tyreek Hill does. Love this game. Love this spot. Love Tyreek Hill. Easily my favorite play on the board in this week's Beast of the Week. All right, guys, that'll do it for our Week 1 6-pack. Hope you enjoyed the plays. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback, hit me up in that comment section right below the video. Glad to have football back. Glad to be back here in the fantasy bar, and glad to be hanging out with you guys. For RotoGrinders.com, I am Beer saying salut. Thank you so much for watching, hanging out here in the fantasy bar. Best of luck in week 1, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks for checking out our videos. If you want more expert advice on DraftKings, FanDuel, or any other daily fantasy sports, make sure you check out the current videos playlist